How you doing? Welcome to another episode of Dinner at Lola. I'm Jay Lee, your host. I'm really excited for our show tonight. I got some really good friends, very, very talented, and I'm excited to get into what they do and how they do it. I'm gonna start with my man Cheo Coker over here.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
I got my man Sterling Brim right here with his new beard.
Trying it out, man.
Got my good friend Seth Green.
Not as cool of an intro, but I'll take it.
And we have the wonderful Rutina Wesley.
Hello, hello.
When I first met Seth, I used to work at Family Guy. You know, Seth does multiple voices, but he's known as Chris on Family Guy as well. But Seth was so cool when he would come in. He would always say, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Seth Green." I'm like, "Yeah, motherfucker, I know. Who you are. I've seen almost all your shit."
I learned that lesson young, man, because I was in this so young, you know, that people who are on like an assistant's desk one year could be the president of the network the next year. Like, there is no real routine of it. You just have to be a decent person. Yeah. You never know where someone's gonna be sitting, and don't like be nice to people in fear. Just be nice, because everybody is a part of making whatever it is that you're making.
Right.
Everybody's excellence is going to result in the thing working or not working.
Right.
No. Like Seth just said, you never know who anybody really is. And they might not necessarily know who you are. And so if you give everybody equal shot, then it's all good.
Right.
But you'll find situations sometimes where, I don't know, either you're underestimated, or if you make the mistake of underestimating people, you know, sometimes you'll be like, man, you know, and you'll learn that lesson and say, okay, I'm not going to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
The underestimation, I think, hurts the most, and that's why I try to imagine anybody that I'm meeting is the best at what they are, or at least has the potential to be.
By the way, it's just good to come, have a little drink, chill for a second, and then by the time we get in there and the food come out, they know I don't really give a shit about these cameras.
You roofied this, didn't you?
I did.
You're just waiting for it to kick in.
You drink anything besides wine? Are you like a whiskey or bourbon?
I like bourbon, but I'm kind of like I would say I'm white wine and beer every now and again on a hot day.
I've never drank a beer.
Really?
I swear.
I've never had a beer.
Are you serious?
Swear to God. I'll drink full-fledged Hennessy and never had a beer.
But you know what's interesting though, since you know you guys are all very good at what you do, and now you go to these events and parties, everybody's drinking, there's open bars and all that. And I remember when I first started going to these events, you know, I wasn't used to that stuff. But I would be at these events just drinking heavily, and I had to slow down because then you got to network and you know.
When you really think about it, what you're asking any of these people for is to trust you with their millions of dollars and whatever their version of success is, they're placing that on you. And so if you can't at least convey that you're professional enough to go a party without getting sloppy, they won't ever hire you. And so it's not about, you know, not socializing or not engaging or not participating. It's really just always maintaining your excellence so that people feel like they can trust you.
Do you guys have people like pitch you stuff now all the time?
Yeah, for me, it's everywhere. It makes things really transparent. I mean, you really very quickly know who your friends are, because they were the same friends that you had when you literally had nothing.
Sure.
And then it really becomes easy to spot when the third question is going to be the hookup, or can you, or, you know, particularly in what we do. When people say, like, how are you, they're really asking, who are you?
Yeah.
And when they're asking, who are you, what they mean is, how can you help me?
I have a very sort of interesting position where either nobody knows who the I am, or like 10 people do. But since I know so many cool people, I'm always the guy people are like, oh, you know Rutina? Oh, you know Seth? Oh, you know Sterling? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna give them shit you wrote. Like, I didn't read it. By the way, send me any script that you have for any of our guests tonight. Guaranteeing green light. But what I want to do is let's finish up our appetizers here.
We'll absolutely go back.
I want to start with you when we get in the other room.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I want to talk about Queen Sugar. So Queen Sugar, how did that project come about for you?
It came across my desk, and I was like, oh, this is great. And the thing that really got me was, it was like, she's 37. I was like, I'm about to be 37. Tattoos. Oh, I got some tattoos. Like, she charges, what? Oh my gosh, she walks across. It just was really hit home for me. My most
Shout out to
comfortable.
Ava real
Shout
quick.
out to Ava DuVernay.
Bam.
She's amazing. But yeah, it was, she saw me.
Right.
And I really feel like that was one of the first times in an audition where I really felt seen. And come to find out, she said in a panel like months later, she was like, you know, I was a publicist on Rutina's first film.
Did you know
How
that?
She Move. I did, and I forgot.
Oh, got it.
And she had to keep reminding me. I was like, oh, that's you. Yeah, you know me, because he was there when I began. God,
Right.
oh my God. Like, not only that I felt seen, she did see me. Because she saw me from when I was, you know, a little budding blossom. And then she was like, boom, and she's arrived.
And at that time, she wasn't directing yet, right? When she was just strictly doing publicity work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I.
She's like
Right.
that woman.
Right. It's been an incredible journey. Been incredibly inspired, but like activated as a human, because it made me be like, well, what can I do to bring about light, bring about positivity, bring about change? Playing the character that I play, I felt like responsibility. Like I have to activate right now.
Right. Speaking of responsibility, you have, you know, Luke Cage, who was like,
Well, see, when you say it like that, it sounds like a lot of responsibility.
it is. Well, you know, who was it? It was Daredevil's cousin's sister that said, with great power comes power.
That's
There's Spider-Man.
It's
That's
what was
great
it?
power comes with great responsibility.
If you do your homework, you get.
You know,
I know things.
I like that you looked at me for the comic poll.
Because you're the comic guy.
Hey, man.
At this, well,
Hey,
I got two. Yeah, this is
I'm
true.
a geek too, though.
This is
You
true.
know,
This
yeah.
is true. But no, Luke Cage. You're talking about, you know, a black man in a hoodie as a bulletproof man. This is what we need right now, and it hit home for me.
The thing that got me about that quote was I was not expecting it to resonate the way that it did. But then it wasn't that it wasn't true, because, you know, when I said the world is ready for a bulletproof black man, it was kind of accumulating over everything that had happened over the last couple of years. When Guillermo Navarro shot that, when we talked about the scene in tone, we were just saying, okay, like Luke going into Christmas Attucks, this is going to kind of be like when Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Terminator went into the police station. And that's all you're really thinking about. You know that, of course, by having Luke Cage in a hoodie, we're invoking Trayvon Martin. You're seeing it and you know the power of it, but okay, you don't really know what the reaction is going to be.
Right.
So in a way, in your mind, you kind of downplay it. Think about how many brothers got shot over the course of 2016 for doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then when you see bullets bounce off this brother and he's walking straight, you realize, like, wait a minute, okay, there are deeper political implications to what we've done. And when you put it out there, then all of a sudden, not only does it become a political statement, it becomes wish fulfillment. I thought it was important to have a black superhero that was black and just didn't happen to be black, you
Right.
know? And so,
But you're also a big hip hop head too, so
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you know Meth before?
yeah, yeah. Well, I got all these crazy Wu-Tang stories because I interviewed Wu-Tang really right after they first came out. I was doing a story for Rap Pages at the time. They basically had these illustrations. Wu-Tang took their shit really seriously. Whoever did the illustrations for the magazine, like, made fun of their names. So they had Raekwon the chef, but they had Raekwon in a chef's hat cooking a pig. But because he was a 5%, you know, in the 5% nation, he was a Muslim, pork. I mean, that was a no-no. You know,
Oh, wow.
they had all these different things.
You think it was on purpose?
That I don't think people really thought deeply
a
about
blind
what
spot?
it was. You know what I'm saying? So it's like about 5 months later, I had another piece and I went out there. I walked down and then Master Killer walks up and he says, yo, you Cheo? And I'm like, well, yeah. That's just to let you know Wu-Tang ain't nothing to fuck with. We come real with our shit. We not fucking cartoon characters, son. So like my eyes swelling, and he took my tape recorder. Raekwon's like, yo, Killer snuff you, kid. You know, it was just like that's how much they fought. It was like that's how wild and
Master
crazy.
Killer was known. Oh yeah, you got a little master.
You know.
Got something on your face.
You got some Master Killer on
Master
your
Killer
eye,
on
bro.
your
But what I dig about you though is the fact that like you were able to take music and artists that you like and put them in the project that you were doing. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. It's like what it does is it bonds you in this weird way, because it's like after everybody grows up and because you know each other for so long, then you have the relationships. And so like.
So you just call them and say, hey, Meth, I'm gonna put you in Luke Cage?
Yeah. I mean.
That's dope. Well, I also think it's cool for just to work with people you like and you consider friends.
Yeah.
That's
Like
that's
that-
the thing, man. Just watching how long even we've known each other. You talk about how long you've known any of those groups. You get this benefit of history, watching all these people grow up, getting to empower one another into your own success.
Right. Yeah, and even with you, you know, coming on the show, we were talking about, you know, who do we want to talk to and who'd be, you know, great on the show. And it's like, oh yeah, of course, Seth Green. And yeah, just text him.
Everybody knows I like to talk, guys.
Right. No, but you know how it is. At a certain point,
That's an incredible thing, though, to be able to look around, and it's not something to be underappreciated, to look around at your peers and realize that you are amongst experts, people that have trained their whole life, spent their whole life preparing for this moment, and now you're fortunate enough to be in a position where you could collaborate or at least interact. Everybody's hard on the hustle, and anybody that doesn't quit, you stand a chance to make it. Like,
Right.
you can make it in whatever shape making it takes for you.
Do you find yourself working with all of your friends with Robot Chicken?
You know, I love to meet new people, but you're often most comfort with people that you've already vetted. And when you're in a position of producing something or directing something, there's a ton of pressure to deliver a particular thing. And so people complain about a kind of nepotism, but it's really a familiarity and a trust that says whatever responsibility has been placed on me, I know I can achieve with this set of circumstances.
So what was it like making the transition from being, starting off as an actor and being in front of the camera to then writing and directing and,
It's hard because I actually love acting. So all this other stuff is just skills you acquire. My heart is always with acting, and so it is difficult sometimes to take on the mantle. I'm sure you all appreciate this. You take on the full weight of the responsibility for everyone's behalf. And a lot of times I just want to act. I just want to learn my lines and figure out who this person is and why they f***ed up and how they can put it together. Sometimes I like that.
It's like a weird therapy, but
Yeah, it is.
It's darker than that. I guess you said it was darker than therapy.
it's worse.
I guess it's
Wow.
Do you want to get into scripted acting?
That's what I've been like. Like I literally have, since I've been on Ridiculousness, I've had MTV and other networks come with me with so many different ideas of like, hey, we want you to host this and do this and do this. And I know that in order for me to really have longevity in this industry, that I need to get in scripted. So I've passed on every possible thing because I've been focused on creating my sketch comedy show. Which just partnered with Ben Stiller and Red Hour to do that.
Dope.
And that's what my focus has been because I know that that's my true voice, my true humor.
How did you know Rob before?
So I was working in music. I was helping his cousin, and Rob would just come to studio sessions and was like, dude, you are funny as shit.
Right.
And I was like, oh man, thanks, man, that's dope.
Thanks, man, you're right.
Yeah. And then he came to me one day randomly, it's such a Hollywood story, but he came to me and was like, hey, would you want to do a show on MTV? And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, that sounds cool. And he was like, okay, cool. Called me 3 months later and said, hey, that show I mentioned to you, this is Rob. We film it tomorrow, the pilot, can you be there? And I was like, yeah, what time? And he's like, 10 a.m. I was like, I'll be there.
That's early, but.
And I was like, I'll be there. And it was weird for me during the pilot because it was Rob and then these two other people who had already been on TV with Rob for many years. And I felt like it was a speaking order. So Rob would speak and then I would be like, I'm gonna let them speak. If there's anything else left to say, then I'll say something. And I found myself just being real quiet at times. MTV came to Rob and was like, no. He doesn't even talk and he was like, no, believe me, he is funny, this dude is cool. Trust me. We're 9 seasons in and they don't want to stop anytime soon. But
I appreciate you because you're one of those people who, you actually do it. And a lot of people out here say so many things. And,
the actual doing it is the boring part.
That's
the thing. It's
that's good.
It's not fun. I mean, when you hear about Kobe Bryant or a lot of basketball players not leaving the court until they make 1,000 free throws, that's the difference between the kids that become professionals and the kids that don't. You got to keep going. It's painful.
Right.
Your writing's going to suck for a long time.
And look, I'm sure you can attest to this.
Painful.
I tell people,
wrestling that keyboard, that's the worst. Wrestling that blank screen into being a scene that means anything of value, that's a tremendous effort.
You have to just
But there's
just keep doing it.
There's a really good point in that, which is your career is as defined by the things that you refuse to do as it is by the things that you get to do. Nobody heard from Chappelle for 10 years. Chappelle was on top of the world and he was like, this is a little too big for me. I don't like the way everyone is treating me. I don't like the way it feels to create right now. This money's too much pressure. Quite frankly, I just want to be a human being, go back to doing stand-up. Spent the last 10 years just showing up in clubs, hitting a 10-minute set, hitting a 45-minute set. And then he goes to host SNL. The first thing he's done in 10 years because he's back in a balance, feels a little more comfortable with his role, knows what he is as a creator, and is okay with people watching him for a minute.
he turned down $50 million to sign for 60. Crazy.
Actually, let me ask this to the table too. What's the biggest pressure that you feel now, versus when you first started, when you're just trying to get in the door,
I thought writing would get easier. It's not easier. Every time you sit down in front of the blank page, you're like, can I really do it? The only difference is that once you've made something that's gotten made, or once you've done that, you say, well, even though I don't feel like I can do it, well, shit, I did it once before. It's almost like jumping into a cold pool. The pool's gonna be cold every single time you jump into it.
Right.
But you just get used to, that's part of the process.
But you got to get in the pool.
But you got to jump in.
And you gotta stay sharp too. Like whether you're just starting or whether you've been in it 30 years, like you have to recognize your own responsibility to whatever it is that you're pursuing, and the fact that it doesn't get achieved without effort. So that's the thing that I struggle with. That's the greatest pressure, is don't quit. Because sometimes it f***ing sucks.
Yeah.
You got 3 decades in this game, yeah?
Yeah.
That's
It's
a
like
long
straight 35
just
years.
making that
How fucked up is that?
You can see the video from
know.
this. What about you though, Rutina? Because I mean, you've had film, TV success, all of it. You've had leading films. You've been on the hit show True Blood, which was a phenomenon at the time.
Also, that run on Hannibal was pretty awesome.
Oh, no big deal. No big deal. By the way, shout out to Brian Fuller, who was a guest on this show.
Anytime, shout out
That
to
was
Brad
one of my
Fuller.
favorite things I've done with Hannibal. I feel a responsibility with our platform as artists. Take it as you want, but I feel like there's a time and a place to speak on things. There's a way to have tact, and then there's always a way to just have light.
And look, I don't care anymore. Like, I'll say stuff and be like, deal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't give a shit. And Sterling says some shit, and I'm like, like, makes me go, well, no, he didn't mean it.
Make him blush.
And I'd be like,
Really?
well, why can't I?
Why can't I say right?
But it's great though.
I just feel like it's important. It's important for us, especially now, especially in a time where I feel like everybody has something to say right now, and actually everybody's actually speaking up right now, which I think is beautiful.
Sure.
'Cause everyone's going, no, wait a minute, that's not cool.
Right.
Even though I ain't said nothing in 20 years, I'm gonna say something now, and I actually love it.
Do you get a lot of people coming at you on social media?
All day. I have friends that really let things get to them. And I have to like really sit with them and be like, yo, you signed up for this. You can't though.
You don't think that that's what you're signing up with. When I was 5 years old, I didn't think that I was signing up.
You were also 5.
But exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Your inclination as a performer, as a creator, as whatever kind of artist you are, is never in. It's not in service to the audience and their expectations of you as a role model. It's simply, this is some kind of creativity that I know how to express. You just don't suspect that the attention, that sense of understanding that comes from your community would come hand in hand with a complete lack of privacy, or that an implication that everything you say and do suddenly has to be vetted against someone else's opinion of a role model. And there's a greater emphasis on becoming famous than there is on becoming successful for any given thing now.
Longevity, yeah.
Than there ever was
That's
before.
very true. We're gonna go have some dessert, and we're gonna continue. And I got a couple more questions for you guys. What we were talking about sort of in transition was social media responsibility and platforms. And I was saying to Sterling, I think it's a interesting sort of generational thing too. Like a lot of, millennials, young folks, they just know exactly this is what it is. It's all our stuff is out there. If I'm gonna be an entertainer, this just comes with the business. And I think what you were saying inside is like, yeah, it should, but maybe it doesn't have to.
I don't know. I had this really bizarre experience while I was in Amsterdam, just looking out the window. Everybody's windows are the same height, no curtains, everybody's just doing stuff, and you sort of can't help but voyeuristically examine other humans living their life, right? And so then I looked at all these different windows, people doing stuff, and then I got to this one window, and there was a dude in a bathrobe standing at his window with a cup, and he was looking at me. And we just like looked eyes for a second, and he goes like this. And I just went.
Right.
And I felt a real freedom in that moment. And so with the rise of all the social stuff, I thought, we're just becoming more Dutch. We're just like, this is all my information. Judge me if you will, I don't care.
With the internet and with social media and different things, I think that the generation now is like overdosing on dopamine. Because now it's not even say anything. I can just double click.
Like,
I can just like it, and then I can comment. It's like oh, that one comment sat with you for a whole day. Now you have 2,500 comments that are saying how gorgeous you look or how so it's like makes you want more, and you're like, we're not supposed to be able to handle that much, and we are. All of us are trying to deal with it.
It's all because parenthood kind of changes your perspective on everything. Anytime I post my son playing guitar on Facebook, first question he asks is, how many likes did I get? that the fact that he's thinking so profoundly about likes and the want of likes, and as if the likes have any kind of validation of anything, you know, talent is one of those things where it's like maybe he's not very good right now, but he could be better. Right. You know, what if he didn't get enough likes, and so he decides to quit something that he could have been good at?
That's a disturbing reality, and I think for kids even more so, the concept, who am I, what do I mean, and if you're able to mathematically aggregate how many people like you or like your idea at any given time, that's got to be really toxifying to your development.
You have a lot of cool toy action figures. Thanks. And I want to know how I can get my action figure game up.
Well, you know,
what I'm really saying is, will you give me some of yours?
Right. Well, I made a deal with myself that I wasn't gonna buy anything that I wasn't gonna open, because the idea of keeping things in boxes, it's antithetical to the concept of toys anyway, which are meant to be able to be played with.
Yeah, because at your house, like, you go to his house, and it's really dope. But the thing that was cool about it is seeing characters that you made. You know what I mean? Like seeing characters you created.
Thank you.
This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. This was dope.
Oh, man.
Oh, you know I love you, buddy.
All right. I'll thank you.
No, you did nothing. Thank you.
But I do have a gift for you. It's not really for you. It's for you to kind of give out.
You shouldn't have.
A friend of the show, Peg Effect. They have a very cool company here. It's a goodie bag. So if you're driving, you see somebody at the light, they need a little handout. They got toiletries, deodorant, toothbrush, stuff like that. Men and women. And their motto is to empower through the cycle of giving. PegEffect.org. So you guys all get one. Okay. Yeah, and it's cool. Just keep it in the car.
I can't wait.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Right on. This has been another episode of Dinner and Lola. Jay Lee, Rutina Wesley, Cheo Coker, Sterling Brim, Seth Green. Catch you guys next time.